Getting older changes the physics of motorcycling. The knees start complaining. The hips lose flexibility. The slow-speed tip-over becomes the single biggest fear that forces experienced riders off the road entirely, which is a tragedy because the solution is sitting right there in the showroom on 3 wheels. Today we count down 10 incredible three-wheelers, learning technology, luxury trikes, open-air autocycles, sidecar rigs that eliminate the fear of falling and keep riders going decades longer. Let's get into it. Kicking off at number 10, Vanderhall Venice, fixed 2 front wheels. We open with the machine that makes people stop and stare in car parks and ask questions like, is that a motorcycle? And is that a car? And what is that? The Vanderhall Venice does not fit neatly into any category, and that is precisely why it is brilliant. 1.5-liter turbocharged inline-4. The low-slung aluminum monocoque chassis is the part pointer. This ultra-low seating position means you sit deep down inside the tub rather than perching on top of a vehicle. Tipping over is not a meaningful concept when you are sitting inside the machine. The Venice is classified as an autocycle in most states, which means it runs on a standard car license in almost every state. No motorcycle endorsement required, no safety course. You just get in and go. It features a roll bar, heated seats, and enough turbocharged power to get you into illegal speeds before you fully process what happened. This is not a budget machine. New, $29,950. Used, $20,000 to $25,000. For the luxury-minded rider who wants an exotic, hand-built American roadster experience with turbocharged power and the kind of looks that make people in Ferrari dealerships feel inadequate, the Venice is the machine. The license requirement context is worth understanding for all the machines on this list. So here's the short version. 39 states use a 3-wheel vehicle or motorcycle endorsement for non-leaning 3-wheelers. Some states treat autocycles like the Venice and the Slingshot as standard cars. Always check your specific state before purchasing. The rules vary, and they matter for insurance too. It is also worth noting that Vanderhall builds multiple variants. The Venice is the entry model. The Venice Black and the Bricklin models offer additional features at additional price points. All share the same monocoque tub architecture and the same autocycle classification. If you are stepping off 2 wheels and want something that feels special rather than a compromise, Vanderhall is the brand that takes this category seriously as an experience rather than just a solution. Italian-American luxury at the bottom of the list. The machine just ahead is the opposite of hand-built exotic. It is a Russian-built adventure weapon with a sidecar and a dog seat. Moving up to number 9, Ural Gear Up, fixed asymmetric sidecar. The Ural Gear Up is what happens when you ignore 70 years of motorcycle development and decide that the 1942 BMW R75 military sidecar rig was actually the pinnacle of motorcycle engineering. It is not a compliment. It is correct. 749 cubic centimeters air-cooled boxer twin. The engageable 2-wheel drive shaft routed directly from the rear hub to the sidecar wheel is the part pointer. And this is the feature that makes the Ural unique in the 3-wheel world. In 2-wheel drive mode, this machine will continue moving through conditions that would stop anything else. Deep mud, snow, loose gravel, river crossings that have no business being attempted. The sidecar eliminates the tipping risk entirely. You cannot fall over. The whole point of the sidecar configuration is that the machine has 3 contact points in a triangle and is statically stable at a standstill. You park it. It stays parked. You do not need to find flat ground or engage a parking brake to prevent an embarrassing slide. New price, $21,999. Used, $10,000 to $15,000. For the adventurous rider with a dog, a partner, or just a desire to explore forest trails without worrying about dropping the bike in the dirt, the Ural Gear Up operates in a category of 1. Nothing else offers 2-wheel drive and a sidecar rig at this price. The Ural is also worth considering from a passenger perspective. Sidecar rigs allow passengers who cannot ride a motorcycle at all due to disability, age, or simply not wanting to travel alongside you in their own enclosed space. The sidecar passenger sits facing forward in a proper seat. They can read a book. They can have a conversation without shouting over wind noise. They can wave at people. They are not gripping a tank and hoping you do not brake too hard. Soviet engineering proving its durability. Just ahead, Harley-Davidson stripped down their trike lineup to produce something more aggressive and less grandpa. Arriving at number 8, Harley-Davidson Freewheeler, fixed 2 rear wheels. Some people look at the full Tri Glide Ultra Trike and think, that is a lot of motorcycle. All that luggage, all those lights, all that touring infrastructure. What if I want Harley trike stability, but I want to look like I am going somewhere fast rather than somewhere comfortable? Harley heard that feedback and built the Freewheeler. 1,868 cubic centimeters, 114 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 V-twin. The stripped-down rear trunk profile and mini ape hanger bars are the part pointer. This minimalist styling removes the massive top-heavy feeling and visual intimidation of a full touring trike, creating a machine with a much lower and more manageable center of gravity. It has the same solid rear axle configuration as the Tri Glide, meaning it requires zero balancing at a standstill. You roll up to a red light, stop, and just sit there in complete comfort while the person next to you on a full dress bagger is quietly tensing their leg muscles and hoping the road is level. The Freewheeler owner is not thinking about any of this. A 3-wheel or motorcycle endorsement is required in 47 states. California, Nevada, and South Carolina allow a standard car license. New price, $30,000. Used, $18,000 to $24,000. For the cruiser enthusiast who wants American V-twin attitude, aggressive styling, and perfect stoplight stability without the bulky touring aesthetic, the Freewheeler is the answer. The practical difference between the Freewheeler and the full Tri Glide Ultra comes down to intended use. The Tri Glide is a cross-country touring machine designed for weeks on the road with a passenger and full luggage. The Freewheeler is a machine for the rider who wants to go for a ride. Long weekends, canyon runs. The kind of riding where you want to feel the machine rather than manage it. Both share the same stable rear end. Both are equally untippable. The choice is about what you are putting in the back. For Harley riders specifically, the dealer experience with the Freewheeler is worth mentioning. You bring it to the same dealer you have been going to for years. The same mechanics who know your previous bikes work on this one. The parts pipeline is identical to the rest of the Milwaukee 8 lineup. There is no learning curve for the service relationship. That continuity of ownership experience is something the non-Harley three-wheelers on this list cannot offer to a lifelong Harley rider. Stripped down American iron. The machine ahead is not American and not stripped down. It is an open-air autocycle that feels more like a vintage Formula One car than anything with 2 wheels ever could. Before we go any further, subscribe right now if this list is reshaping how you think about what motorcycling looks like in your future. Every week, we cover the machines that keep riders on the road longer. Do not miss it. Pressing on to number 7, Polaris Slingshot, fixed 2 front wheels. The Polaris Slingshot is the machine that causes the most confusion at registration offices across the country. And that is the reason it belongs on this list. Most states classify it as an autocycle, which means standard car license. No motorcycle endorsement, no safety course. Today, virtually every single state across the country has modernized its laws, allowing you to drive an autocycle on a standard car license without an endorsement. You just get in and go. 2.0 liter ProStar 4-cylinder. The side-by-side bucket seats and steering wheel are the part pointer. And this is the critical conceptual shift. You do not sit on the Slingshot, you sit in it. You are not straddling a vehicle and managing its balance with your body weight. You are in a low-slung, open-air cockpit with a steering wheel, steering input from your arms, and zero requirement to countersteer, lean, or perform any traditional motorcycle operation. The tipping risk is essentially zero. The machine has 2 front wheels on a wide-track Sun and 1 rear wheel. The physics of that configuration make it extremely difficult to tip over at any meaningful speed. The more likely problem is exceeding your own confidence level through a corner, which is an exciting problem to have rather than a terrifying one. New price, $21,999 to $35,000, depending on trim. Used, $14,000 to $20,000. For the rider who wants the open-air thrill and wind-in-the-face freedom of motorcycling, but wants to eliminate the physical exhaustion and balance requirements of a traditional bike, the Slingshot delivers an experience with no equivalent. One thing the Slingshot gets right that surprises new riders. The exposure to the environment is exactly what makes it exciting rather than terrifying. You have no roof, no doors, and no windshield in the traditional sense. Rain hits you, sun hits you, wind hits you. It is not a vehicle that insulates you from the world. It is a vehicle that puts you inside the world, which is exactly what draws motorcycle riders to the idea in the first place. The Slingshot delivers that sensation without any of the balance demands. A practical note on the automatic versus manual Slingshot. Polaris offers both a 5-speed manual and an auto-drive transmission option depending on the trim level. For riders with hand or wrist issues that make clutch operation painful, the automatic resolves that concern entirely. For riders who want the engagement of a manual transmission and still have the grip strength to use it, the manual option keeps that connection to the driving experience. Both are valid, and the choice is purely personal preference. The Slingshot stays on pavement. The machine ahead takes a leaning sport bike and adds a second front wheel for riders who are not ready to stop carving canyons but want unshakable wet weather confidence. Bearing down at number 6, Yamaha Niken GT, leaning 2 front wheels. The Yamaha Niken GT is the most misunderstood motorcycle on the market. People see the 2 front wheels and assume it is a stability aid for beginners who cannot balance. They are wrong. The Niken GT is a sport touring weapon for experienced riders who are done apologizing to their front tire for wet pavement. 890 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled CP3, inline triple, the same engine that powers the MT-09, which is anything but a beginner's machine. The leaning multi-wheel dual fork system is the part pointer. 2 front wheels, each on its own independent hub, connected by a parallelogram linkage that allows both wheels to lean simultaneously through corners. The machine leans exactly like a motorcycle. It handles exactly like a motorcycle. It just has twice the front contact patch. What this eliminates is the front wheel washout on wet pavement, wet leaves, painted lines, or unexpected gravel. The single biggest fear of experienced riders in bad weather is the front wheel suddenly losing grip and the bike going down instantly. The Niken GT makes that scenario require both front wheels to lose grip simultaneously. The probability of that happening drops dramatically. You still need to put a foot down at a complete stop. This is not a no-feet machine, but the confidence it provides through corners and challenging conditions is something experienced riders describe as transformative. A full motorcycle endorsement is required. New price, $18,000. Used, $10,000 to $13,000. For the seasoned sport tourer who is not ready to give up aggressive riding but wants all-weather confidence, the Niken GT is the machine. The other thing the Niken GT solves that gets less attention: confidence in heavy crosswinds. On a 2-wheel motorcycle, a sudden gust from a passing lorry can cause a momentary front-wheel disturbance that is briefly alarming even for experienced riders. The Niken GT's dual front wheels and wider track give it a significantly higher resistance to lateral wind forces. Long motorway stretches next to large vehicles become noticeably less stressful, which is a quality of life improvement that adds up over thousands of miles. It is worth being precise about the foot-down requirement because it confuses some people. At a complete stop, the Niken GT behaves like a 2-wheel motorcycle. You need 1 foot down to balance the machine. This is not a significant limitation for most riders. It is exactly what you do on any motorcycle. The advantage is not at the stop. The advantage is in the approach to the stop, through the corner before the stop and the exit from the stop. At any speed above about 5 miles per hour, the dual front wheel system is actively working in your favor. The brief moment of foot down at a red light is the only point where it behaves like a conventional machine. Yamaha's leaning front-end technology at the performance end of the market. Coming up, Piaggio applied the same leaning principle to a premium urban commuter with a bonus trick that Yamaha does not have. Roaring into the top 5 at number 5, Piaggio MP3 𝐷𝐴𝐻𝐵e exclusive, leaning 2 front wheels. The Piaggio MP3 is the machine that solves the single most embarrassing moment in urban motorcycling: the slow-speed tip-over in a car park. You know the one. You're doing a tight U-turn at walking pace, the wheel catches a lip, and over you go at 3 miles per hour in front of everyone. 530 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled single. The electronic front suspension lock mechanism near the front tilt axle is the part pointer. And this is what separates the MP3 from every other leaning 3-wheeler. At walking speeds, you press a thumb button, and the leaning front suspension mechanically locks upright. The bike stands on its own. You do not need to put your feet down at a stoplight. You do not need to balance anything. You just stop. At speed, you release the lock and the front suspension tilts freely, allowing the machine to lean through corners with the same dynamic character as a conventional scooter. This means you get the full leaning experience at speed and zero balancing requirement at low speed, both in the same machine. This is an enormous practical advantage for riders with knee injuries, hip problems, or any condition that makes putting weight on a foot and leg at every stoplight painful rather than routine. The MP3 removes that requirement entirely. A full motorcycle endorsement is required in the US. New price, $11,999. Used, $6,000 to $8,000 for previous 500cc generations. For the urban commuter who still wants the sensation of leaning a motorcycle, but wants an electronic safety net for low-speed situations, the Piaggio MP3 is the definitive choice. The Piaggio MP3 also solves a problem that many riders do not think about until it is relevant. Wet painted lines. The classic white painted lines on roads, lane markings, pedestrian crossings, stop lines become ice when it rains. Two-wheel riders develop habits for avoiding them or crossing them at specific angles. The MP3's two front wheels mean that even if one tire crosses a slippery, painted surface, the other maintains grip. Small advantage in theory, enormous advantage in practice when you experience it for the first time on a wet road. The MP3 range has expanded over the years. In previous generations with a 500 cubic centimeters engine are widely available on the used market for $6,000 to $8,000, representing excellent value for urban commuters who want the leaning stability system without the premium price of the current 530 HPE model. The 530 is a significant upgrade in power and refinement, but the underlying lock mechanism technology works identically across all generations. Buy the generation that fits your budget, and the core feature set is the same. Italian engineering solving the slow speed problem with electronics. The machine ahead solved the slow speed problem a different way by going to 4 wheels and back and wrapping the best touring engine ever made around all of it. Hit that like button right now. We are in the top 4, and these machines represent the best of what 3-wheel technology currently offers. One tap helps push this toward every rider who needs to see these options. Charging into number 4, Honda Goldwing, trike conversion, fixed 2 rear wheels. The Honda Goldwing is the gold standard of long-distance touring motorcycles. It has been for decades. The flat 6 engine is a mechanical masterpiece. The comfort is extraordinary. The reliability is essentially unmatched in the touring world. The only problem is that the GL 1800 weighs 850 pounds fully loaded, and holding that up at a standstill is no longer comfortable for every rider. 1,833 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled flat 6, the same incredible power plant. The aftermarket independent rear suspension module is the part pointer. Companies like Roadsmith and California Sidecar engineer conversion kits that replace the Goldwing's rear wheel and swing arm with a 2-wheel independent rear suspension assembly. The machine is transformed without touching the engine, the frame, or any of the mechanical systems that make the Goldwing legendary. The independent rear suspension is a significant advantage over a solid axle trike. When one rear wheel hits a pothole, only that wheel moves. The other wheel and the chassis remain undisturbed. The ride quality over rough pavement is noticeably smoother than a fixed rear axle trike, which can feel like it is trying to rearrange your spine through long-distance riding. A 3-wheel or motorcycle endorsement is required in most states. A completed modern build costs $35,000 to $45,000. An older used GL 1800 conversion can be found for $15,000 to $25,000. For the rider who demands the turbine-smooth reliability of the Honda Flat 6, but requires absolute standstill stability for themselves and their passenger, the Goldwing trike conversion is the premium option in this category, and it earns that premium. The Goldwing trike conversion also benefits from the enormous Goldwing owner community. There are dedicated forums, clubs, and rally events specifically for Goldwing trike riders. The collective knowledge about maintenance, accessories, long-distance preparation, and riding technique is encyclopedic. When you buy a Goldwing trike conversion, you are not just buying a machine, you are buying into a community of people who have already solved every problem you are likely to encounter. One important practical consideration: the conversion warranty. Roadsmith and California Sidecar both offer warranties on their conversion hardware. The Honda powertrain warranty on a newer GL 1800 is preserved. The conversion companies are careful to work around the factory drivetrain rather than modifying it. If you are buying a used conversion, Ask specifically which company did the conversion and verify that it was a professional kit installation rather than a custom fabrication job. Quality conversions hold their value well. Improvised conversions hold their value poorly and can introduce new maintenance headaches. The Goldwing conversion is touring perfection on 3 wheels. The machine at the top 3 is a factory 3-wheeler from Can-Am that costs less, delivers more technology, and requires 0 customization. So close at number 3, Can-Am Ryker, fixed 2 front wheels. The Can-Am Ryker is the machine that made 3-wheel riding affordable for the first time. Before the Ryker, the entry point into factory-built 3-wheel riding was the Spyder, which starts at over $26,000. The Ryker changed the conversation. 900 cubic centimeters Rotax Ace inline triple, or the 600 cubic centimeters twin for the entry model. The CVT automatic transmission housing is the part pointer, and this is the feature that makes the Ryker accessible to riders with physical limitations. CVT means there is no clutch lever, no foot shifter. You twist the throttle and the machine manages all the transmission logic on your behalf. Riders with arthritis in their hands, limited grip strength, or reduced foot mobility can operate this machine without modification. The tadpole configuration, 2 wheels at the front, 1 at the rear, gives the Ryker its stability character. The 2 front wheels are on a wide track with automotive-style suspension. The machine cannot tip over in normal riding conditions. Tight parking lot. U-turns that have caught countless heavy motorcycles can be executed at walking pace without any concern. The physics simply will not allow the tipping scenario. The Ryker is also the most customizable machine in this category. BRP designed it from the ground up with a modular platform that accepts hundreds of factory accessories. A 3-wheel or motorcycle endorsement is required in 47 states. New price, $9,500 to $14,000. Used, $6,500 to $8,500. For the budget-conscious rider or first-time 3-wheeler buyer who wants a lightweight, highly customizable, untippable machine, the Ryker is the correct entry point. The Ryker also benefits from something the premium machines on this list do not have: low stakes. At $9,500 new and $6,500 used, this is the machine you buy to decide if 3-wheel riding is right for you. If you love it, and most people do, you know exactly what to upgrade to. If you decide it is not for you, you have not committed $38,000 to that discovery. The Ryker is the correct entry point into this category for almost everyone. Insurance on the Ryker is straightforward and affordable because it is classified as a 3-wheel vehicle or motorcycle depending on the state, and because the value of the machine is considerably lower than premium 3-wheelers. Premiums are manageable. BRP also has a large and active dealer network across North America, meaning parts availability and service access are not concerns. For first-time 3-wheeler buyers, the Ryker removes every financial and logistical barrier to getting started. The budget champion. Number 2 took the Ryker's core philosophy and applied it to a full touring package with massive luggage capacity and long-haul comfort. And up at number 2, Can-Am Spyder RT, fixed 2 front wheels. BRP flipped the script on 3-wheelers when they designed the Spyder. Every traditional American trike puts 2 wheels at the back and 1 at the front. BRP looked at that and asked, what if we do it the other way? The tadpole configuration. They landed on turns out to be significantly better at eliminating the specific situations where trikes get riders into trouble. 1,330 cubic centimeters Rotax Ace inline triple, the automotive style double. Arm front. Suspension is the part pointer. 2 wheels at the front on a wide stance, each with its own independent suspension arm, providing massive grip and lateral stability during cornering. This specifically addresses the slow tight U-turn scenario that catches heavy Delta configuration trikes. With 2 wheels at the front, a slow speed turn is actively stable rather than passively tolerated. The Spyder RT is the full touring package in the Can-Am lineup. Massive luggage capacity, windscreen, comfort seat, audio system, all the infrastructure a cross-country rider needs. The Rotax engine is bulletproof. BRP uses this power plant in Ski-Doo snowmobiles and Sea-Doo watercraft, meaning the reliability and cold weather performance data on this engine comes from extremely demanding real-world applications. The VSS vehicle stability system actively monitors cornering forces and applies individual wheel braking if the machine begins to oversteer. This is an automotive-grade electronic safety system on a three-wheeler, something no traditional trike offers. A three-wheel or motorcycle endorsement is required in 47 states. New price, $26,000 to $32,000. Used, $15,000 to $22,000. For the touring enthusiast who wants massive luggage capacity and unshakable cornering stability, the Spyder RT is the most complete factory touring three-wheeler available. The Spyder RT is also worth understanding from a passenger perspective specifically. The pillion seat on the Spyder RT is wide, well-padded, and equipped with grab handles and footboards. Passengers do not need to lean with the machine, hold on tightly, or manage any balance considerations. They sit in their seat, face forward, and ride. For riders whose passengers have expressed discomfort or anxiety about riding on a two-wheel motorcycle, the Spyder RT often resolves that conversation permanently. The passenger becomes as much a fan as the rider. The technology stack on the Spyder RT is also worth understanding because it goes beyond the VSS system. The machine includes traction control, ABS on both front wheels independently, a stability program that manages power delivery on low traction surfaces, and cruise control. These are automotive-grade electronic safety systems applied to a three-wheeler. The result is a machine that is actively working to keep you safe rather than a machine that simply has a stable geometry. For riders who have experienced unsettling moments on two-wheel bikes in adverse conditions, this is a meaningful upgrade. Can-Am's touring masterpiece at number 2. The machine at the top of this list has been the undisputed heavyweight king of the American trike market since before some of these other machines existed, and it is not close. Subscribe right now. We are at the number 1 machine, and if the information in this video has already changed how you think about your riding future, there is more where this came from every week. Do not miss it. And saving the absolute best for number 1, Harley-Davidson Tri Glide Ultra fixed 2 rear wheels. If you have been riding Harley-Davidson touring bikes for 20 years and your knees have finally decided they are done holding up a 900-pound Ultra Classic at stoplights, Harley has a solution that requires you to change nothing about your lifestyle. Not your riding style, not your routes, not your dealer, not your accessories. Nothing. 1,868 cubic centimeters, 114 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 V-twin. The massive solid rear axle assembly is the part pointer, a rigid, wide-track rear end that eliminates the requirement to balance a 1,200-pound, fully loaded touring rig and a passenger at a standstill. You roll up to a red light. You stop. You sit there in the seat with your hands on the bars listening to the engine. That is IT. No muscle engagement, no anxiety, no scanning the ground for slopes and cracks. The Tri Glide Ultra is a full touring machine in every respect. Massive saddlebags, full tour pack luggage, infotainment system, passenger floorboards, and a comfortable pillion seat. The Milwaukee 8 engine delivers smooth, effortless torque that is perfectly suited to the relaxed pace of long-distance two-up touring. And the Harley dealer network means service, and parts are available everywhere in North America. You're not hunting for a specialist. This machine carries the complete history of Harley-Davidson touring culture. Every accessory from the two-wheel Ultra Classic fits the Tri Glide. Every dealer knows the platform. Every owner community includes Tri Glide riders. You're not joining a niche, you're staying inside the same community you have been part of for years, just with 3 wheels instead of 2. A 3-wheel or motorcycle endorsement is required in 47 states. California, Nevada, and South Carolina allow a standard car license. New price, $38,000. Used, $20,000 to $30,000. For the lifelong Harley touring rider whose knees can no longer support the massive weight of an Ultra Classic, but who refuses to give up cross-country road trips, the Tri Glide Ultra is the machine that makes the transition invisible. Same roads, same routes, same community, same rumble, just zero tip-over anxiety. That last point is worth sitting with for a moment. The number 1 reason veteran riders quit motorcycling is fear, not the high-speed kind, but the slow-creeping low-speed anxiety that builds over years as the body changes. The Tri Glide Ultra does not just solve a mechanical problem. It gives experienced riders their confidence back. It removes the mental overhead. It makes the ride fun again in the same way it was fun when none of this was a concern. That is the value proposition at $38,000. And for the riders this machine is built for, it is worth every cent. The size of the Tri Glide Ultra deserves honest acknowledgement because it surprises new trike buyers. This is a big machine, over 900 pounds and 68 inches long. It commands its space on the road. The turning radius is wider than a two-wheel motorcycle. Parking in tight urban spaces requires planning. These are realities, not deal breakers, because the trade-off is never having to catch the bike at a stoplight again. That trade-off wins every time for the rider this machine is built for. One last practical note. The used market for the Tri Glide Ultra is strong and well documented. Because many buyers are upgrading from one generation to the next, clean low-mileage examples appear regularly at between $20,000 and $30,000. The Harley dealer network makes financing, servicing, and extended warranty options straightforward. The ownership infrastructure around this machine is as developed as any vehicle in this price range, two-wheeled or otherwise. Continue the ride and click on the next video. Join the tribe and subscribe. Don't hike and get on your bike. And don't you forget to like this video.